Hello everyone and welcome to this little video. So what you're seeing here on your screen is a little app. I'm not sure game is a worthwhile name for it, and we're going to talk about it just afterwards. But yeah, I made this little 3D app in order to learn a few things about Unity engine. And this app uses my own 3D, like you may recognize the walls, the torches, and the crates and barrels that I made in Blender and showed on my Patreon. But here you have this little dungeon, and I made this dungeon as a little side project to learn a few things. So the first interesting thing about this dungeon here is that it's procedurally generated. So credit where credit is due, I didn't do this procedural generation all by myself. I used an asset called Dungeon, and because the whole point of this little project really was for me to learn to use assets I own since a while. Because I'm always on the lookout on the Unity store for assets that might be useful for my bigger long-term projects, because I have a bunch of those, as you know. And assets, even though they do a lot of the work, they don't do all the work, because you have to learn to use them. You have to learn how to make them fit within your code. How do they work? What buttons do you have to press, if I dare say it that way? How do you invoke the commands from the code, from the asset, and so on. So here I wanted to learn about this procedural generation, and I wanted to learn about a few 3D optimization techniques. So again, those techniques are based on assets. I didn't do it all by myself, but I learned how to use a better occlusion culling. So occlusion culling is the name of an algorithm that disables the objects that are not visible. Like there are probably other rooms behind this wall. Well, those rooms are not rendered at all, because the culling algorithm can determine that those rooms are behind those walls, so they won't be calculated at all. And there is also other forms of optimization, and like mesh baking and stuff like that. And if I ever want to experiment about some optimization technique, I might go back to this little project here. So as I said earlier, this is my custom 3D, so that's another neat thing about this project. Now, I'm aware that there are little problems, like some of my models, you can see that the polygons are not visible. Sometimes a bit of weird things are happening with the lights because of the culling algorithm, like here. So you can see that there are still some subtleties that I need to master. But still, I'm pretty glad of this little experiment. It went pretty quick, and I learned a bunch of things. So, now I know that what I'm showing here isn't very impressive when compared to what you can see from indie devs on YouTube, even aspiring beginners. But still, it's a first step. I wanted to share it with you guys, and if you are a patron, you can download this little app for yourself and walk around in the dungeon. You can walk with the keyboard, and so with the arrow keys and the WASD, and you can jump with spacebar, and you can also move around with a gamepad. Like I changed right here, I took a gamepad. I'm moving around with a gamepad and a twin stick, just like you're expected to move in a game like this. So yeah, very tiny problems, like sometimes the lights that flicker because of the culling, and some models that have transparent polygons, like this one. So I figured out what's going on, but I didn't take the time to fix it all, because as I said, it's a quick experiment. Well, I'm saying that, but I might go back to this. because if I want to again to learn about an asset, about an optimization, about a technique, and I want to test it quickly, I might go back to this and do it in there. So there is also a menu, so you can access it with the escape key, and if you use this menu, you can press escape again to escape the app, and the app asks you, do you want to create a new dungeon? So I'm going to say yes, and I spawn again in the starting room, but except the starting room, which is always the same. The rest of the dungeon has completely changed now. So yeah, sorry if I repeat myself a bit and if I'm rambling a little bit, but this is totally unscripted. I didn't want to spend too much time on this video. But if this has piqued your interest and you're curious to follow my game dev journey or my artist journey, because I also draw a comic, in case you don't know, you are discovering me through this little video. So if you're interested to follow my journey and who knows, maybe to help me out with a few bucks, you can go on my Patreon, and I will gladly talk a little bit with you over there, use your feedback, share my ideas, and who knows. Anyways, I thank you all for taking a few minutes from your life to watch this. I know it's not the most impressive tech demo or first experiment around, but still. Hey, Angeline here from the future here. Recording the ending again because I really botched it. I guess I wanted to make the video quick, but even by those low standards, the ending was pretty botched the first time. So yeah, I thank you a lot for listening to the video. And if you want to see more of my work and see what happens with my game dev journey, you can go to my Patreon. I would really appreciate it. Or you can just follow the YouTube channel, I guess, but I'm not very active on it. Either way, I thank you a lot for your time, and I hope to hear from you again. Thanks.